signs in the sun, moon, and stars. Back for the DENDERA Zodiac Code Celestial Gospel Calendar, where time is restored. Let's dig deeper. Here we are back at blog.try-god.org. Biblical Astronomy of the DENDERA Zodiac Axis. If you are just joining us today in this series, please go back and watch the entire series of the DENDERA Zodiac Code, as each video leads into the next one. And this, I believe, is our third video in this series going over this actual website. So today what we're looking at is the poles and the axis. So in this image, in his work Skies of Memory, John Lash summarizes evidence he found of the ancient Egyptian awareness of the precession as follows. The DENDERA Zodiac has two north poles, one located in the jackal, known to us as the little bear. So remember that, the jackal in ancient Egypt is the little bear. And the other is to art, the hippo, known to us as Draco, the celestial dragon. So when you see hippo artwork, you are actually seeing the dragon. There are two poles because, as we know, the Earth's axis is tilted 23.5 degrees relative to its plane of motion around the sun. The North Pole points currently to the jackal as at DENDERA, but not to precisely the same place in the jackal. This is because the terrestrial axis slowly rotates around the axis of the Earth's orbital plane, ever centered in Draco. This long-term wobble marks the cycle of the 25,920 years. This inclusion of both poles in the DENDERA Zodiac may be plain evidence that precession was known to the ancient Egyptians. Excuse me while I scroll down. The hippopotamus at the North Pole, referenced by Lash, is pictured below, with the crocodile riding his back, reminiscent of the description of Behemoth in Job 40 and Leviathan in Job 41, as these figures are symbolically identified with Draco. Their description and astronomical function comes to light. Figure 4, DENDERA North Pole. Lash was not alone in making reference to the axis of the DENDERA Zodiac. As mentioned above, Schwaller de Lubix is another scholar who argued in favor of the Egyptian knowledge of the precession. He points out two hieroglyphs on the outer rim of DENDERA Zodiac that mark the line between Aries the ram and Taurus the bull, which correlates to the date around 2100 BC, indicating how the Egyptians wanted to mark the transition in precessional ages, in this case from the age of Taurus to that of Aries. This mere fact that the cult of the bull, Apis Mentu, preceded the cult of the ram, Ammon, in Egypt, and that the dates of these cults correspond to the equinoctial positions of their constellations at the appropriate time, approximately 4000 and 2000 BC, is conclusive. According to Schwaller de Lubix, that the ancient Egyptians were aware and applied their knowledge of precession in the manner is strong evidence of their knowledge of it. Lash continues regarding Dendera's axis as follows. As I studied the overall design of the zodiac, I realized there was a fifth, as yet undetected axis. My attention was first drawn to its presence by the figure of Virgo, the grain goddess, identified with Isis, who holds the stalk of wheat, in a gesture known from the Sumerian sources as early as the 3rd millennia BC. We should recognize figure 2 above Virgo's wheat stalk as her brightest star, known today as Spica, but in the Hebrew al-Zamak, meaning the branch, which is one of the prominent titles of the promised seed or the offspring of God in the Old Testament. Jeremiah 23, 5-6. What is unique about this as it relates to Dendera zodiac is that Spica al-Zamak is one of only 2 individual stars marked in this entire star map, the other being Sirius. As Lash further elaborates on this point, Sirius is placed between the horns of the sacred cow on axis B, and Spica, the star traditionally identified with Virgo's sheaf of wheat. This led me to wonder what an axis inscribed from Spica through the jackal pole would look like. Lash makes note of some specific observations in connection with what he can refer to as Spica axis on Dendera zodiac that are worthy of our attention. First, the axis culminates bisecting the star mounted by 4 ram's heads situated on the periphery of the zodiac. This seems to interlock its internal features presented by the solar zodiac of ecliptic constellations with the lunar pattern of deacons, 10-degree divisions of the moon orbit running around the periphery. Second, axis E, Spica axis, crosses Pisces at the tail of the lower or foremost fish, exactly where the spring equinox occurs today. This axis E extends to Virgo's feet, marking the tail of Leo at a point that corresponds by precession to 10,500 BC. All in all, axis E marks the moment, the precession, when the full cycle ends and the new one begins. The first observation Lash points out is the recognition that Spica's axis bisects the ram's altar on the periphery of the zodiac. This points out not only the correlation between Spica al-Zamak and the altar of sacrifice that the promised seed would endure to pay the price for forgiveness of the sins, but also may refer to the Aryan age preceded by the Piscean age in the cycle of precession. Lash also refers to the lunisolar year on the ancient Egyptian star map. This provides additional evidence that these ancient astronomers were not only aware of the precession, but synchronized the lunisolar year far in advance of what was previously thought by historians. This also fits with the use of the Sothic calendar based on the star Sirius, first in Egypt, showing another reason why they would choose to designate the star Sirius on their star map. Lash elaborates in his second observation as follows. As the total pattern came into focus, I recognized that axis E signals the moment of epochal transition in a vivid, intentional way. Whoever designed DENDERA was looking ahead in time to our age, when the spring equinox occurs under the tail of the western fish, because this is the time that the entire cycle culminates with the spring equinox just at that position in Pisces. The actual cross locks into a unique alignment with the galaxy. Here we see figure 5, the sun's alignment with the galactic rift of the Milky Way on 12/21/2012. We'll be back with another video to finish up this page. Thanks for coming.